welcome to Holy Heartbeats. My name is Nathan, and I narrate Christ-centered testimonies from all over the world. These testimonies include rapture and end times visions, near-death experiences, encounters with angels and demons, God, Jesus, and even Satan himself. Please consider subscribing to my channel if you are fond of listening to these types of stories, and let me know what you think about these testimonies in the comments section below. Furthermore, for those who want to share their personal testimonies, visions, and revelations from God, you can send us your own stories at holyheartbeat7@gmail.com. I will be very honored to read your testimony, which may inspire, edify, and encourage a lot of people in their personal journey of faith with the Lord Jesus Christ.
I just woke up. I just had one of the most creepiest dreams I've ever seen in my life. And it felt so real that I had to shake myself awake because I didn't want to sleep after seeing this dream and what I saw. But this is going to be a trigger warning. It's very gory. It's very graphic. So if y'all are terrified of blood and murder, please do not listen to this message, okay? But last night I had a very vivid dream. And Barack Obama and Michelle Obama and their two daughters were in this dream. Barack Obama had an infant's arm completely dislocated from the body, mind you. And there was this white bone that was kind of like exposed. So it was this little infant's arm and there was a bone kind of like dangling out. He literally took the arm and was eating it. He was digging in like it was his last meal. He was kind of like looking around and he was kind of like eating it. And Michelle Obama was there. And when he was done taking these huge chunks, these huge bites out of this infant arm, he kind of flailed it around in front of Michelle Obama and told her to have a bite. She didn't bite it, but she was licking on the arm. Whatever he bit, whatever chunks he ate out of, she was kind of like licking the arm, the parts where the blood was kind of like oozing out. And I watched her and she had this face of delight. Like she was happy that she was licking on this infant's arm. And it was so. And then I saw an image of their daughter standing in this door frame. Both of them were just looking at their parents. And something that was off about them is that their pupils were vertical, like a lizard, like a cat. And they were just staring at their parents eating the body of this infant child. They had no reaction. It was like they were frozen in time, like they were stuck, like they were paused. And they were just, I don't know if they were shocked in fear. I also don't know why their pupils were vertical like that, but they didn't have any reaction to what their parents were doing. And then in this dream, I was shown kind of like this long scroll document of all the names of the people. I don't even know how to say this because I don't want this video to not get any traction because I do feel like there's some meaning to this. But I saw names on there. And then at the bottom of the scroll, it said, everyone is involved. Everyone is involved. And then it kept saying, everyone is involved with more and more and more exclamation marks. Everyone is involved. Everyone is doing this. That you see. Everything you see, it is what I saw in this scroll. And I'm trying to, at this point, I'm feeling like, okay, if I'm being shown this dream, I'm going to investigate because why the would I dream of Obama? I didn't see any pictures of him. I didn't hear his name, Michelle Obama, the kids. I didn't see, there would be nothing to trigger this dream because I was not thinking of him. I wasn't thinking of any presidents. I wasn't thinking about the government. It just showed up last night. So what I also saw in the dream is people who will be exposed, who are in these cults, And the first thing I saw was a triangle with an eye on it and Latin letters. And for some reason in the dream, I was able to kind of like translate the Latin to English. It said in Latin, everything that you see has already happened. By the time you see this, it has already occurred. We are long gone. And I said, what is this? This is so, I was like, in my brain, I wanted to do investigative work. Like, what does this mean? And then the longer I was having this dream, I was realizing that they were talking about the Masons and the Eastern Stars in this dream. And the longer it started to go on, the more I was getting closer and closer to seeing what these rituals, why they do them, why do they involve innocent souls. And right when I was at the answer, like doors were about to be open, I was about to see everything, I woke up. You best believe when I go back to sleep tonight, I'm gonna resume that dream. And I'm gonna figure out, it's like sometimes when I'm asleep, I'm just taken places and I have no control over where I'm being taken. I'm protected, but I'm taken on these journeys of the subconscious world, it feels like. And when I saw Barack Obama clear as day, chewing on that child's arm, enjoying himself, blood just coming down his throat, on into his chest. He was wearing a wife beater. So it was like he was at home and this is what he likes to do. It rubbed me wrong so bad. So bad. And I believe it too. I saw too many encrypted messages in my dream that make too much sense. Especially what was written in Latin. What you see has already happened. That I was like, what you see already happened. And then, because I already know about these cults and how they operate and how they move and maneuver. They do these things like cannibalism, like pedophilia, like having sex with animals. They do all these things to mess up the human mind, to mess you up. So you think what you're doing is normal. You think what you're doing is fine because you're only doing it for a certain amount of time, or you were convinced by the higher ups this is what you should be doing to keep your job, to keep your position. That's what it felt like. It felt like they wanted me to see them eating this child's arm. It's like they were enjoying me being severely uncomfortable. And they were getting like a high off of it. Like off of I wouldn't say I was afraid. I would just say, when I saw that in the dream, I wanted to go into protective mode. I wanted to attack, and I was angry. Because that child was innocent and could not defend themselves. So I was mad. I was mad because I'm sick of like this and these cults who go around doing this, because it's way more common than y'all really recognize. They just not gonna publicize it on TV, but there's a lot of cannibals, especially people who were presidents, people with power, people in these film productions that we are seeing, like Dan Schneider, like that. They do shit like this. They're so because they were kind of like, they were summoned to these groups because they want power and influence, but they don't know what they have to do to get that. So as I was watching this man going to town on this child's arm, I was thinking, you're a weak, because you would never, you wouldn't want this to get out. And you're trying to show me. And I know this is a dream, but my dreams, everything in my dreams that I'm shown has come true. Everything. From my own family, dreams I would have, deaths that would happen in the dream, births that would happen in the dreams, they come true. So when I was just shown this, out of nothing provoked this dream to happen. I had a good day yesterday. For the whole week, actually, I was in a really good mood, but to dream of Obama eating an infant's arm and passing it to Michelle Obama, it was too clear. It was way too clear. And it was almost like I felt their emotions, and they were so happy. I don't know, again, if they killed that child or that child was already killed. But what I saw and what I read in that scroll, and what just the fact that it said everyone is involved, I had to come on here and share this with y'all.
The McDonald family. The McDonald name and its intriguing legacy. When one hears the name McDonald, the iconic fast food hamburger chain with franchises spanning the globe immediately comes to mind. For years, however, rumors have circulated alleging connections between the McDonald's Corporation and Satanism. One book, Satan Wants You, mentions a rumor that Ray Kroc, the owner of McDonald's, tithed to the Church of Satan. While such claims remain speculative, Ray Kroc's association with New World Order elites and his membership in the Bohemian Grove lend credence to the perception of deeper connections. There is also no doubt that the McDonald's Corporation has enjoyed favorable treatment from powerful institutions. For instance, the U.S. government reportedly provided $40 million in public tax money to help McDonald's establish restaurants abroad under the guise of advancing foreign policy objectives. By 1991, McDonald's had established a total of 959 outlets across Britain, France, and West Germany. The McDonald brothers, visionaries bought out. Despite the corporation's vast financial success, the McDonald family itself does not appear to have directly benefited from the government funding. Richard and Maurice McDonald, known as Dick and Mac, started the restaurant chain in 1937 but sold their business to Ray Kroc around 1954. At the time of the sale, the McDonald brothers had built a thriving business with 11 locations, generating annual profits of about $100,000. They lived comfortably in San Bernardino's affluent neighborhoods and had pioneered the Golden Arches and the fast food franchise concept. However, the brothers were content with their modest success and resisted expanding further. Ray Kroc, born on October 5, 1902, in Oak Park, Chicago, saw potential in their business. After borrowing the funds to buy out the brothers, he founded McDonald System Inc. on March 2, 1955. Kroc's relentless drive and vision transformed the business from a regional success into a global phenomenon. Living frugally for many years, Kroc dedicated his entire life to expanding the franchise, leveraging the innovative ideas of others and turning them into an unparalleled international success. The influence of McDonald's on the fast food industry. The McDonald brothers' groundbreaking fast food model inspired many entrepreneurs. James A. Collins, chairman of Collins Foods International, which became the largest Kentucky Fried Chicken franchisee and operator of Sizzler restaurants, recalled his experience with the McDonald brothers in 1952. There was a fraternity of us, and every one of us saw the McDonald's in San Bernardino and basically copied it after the boys gave us a tour. We all took our lessons from the McDonald brothers. Collins noted that while the McDonald brothers generously shared their business concepts for free, he began monetizing the ideas, charging $100 a day to train individuals from companies like Carnation. Other fast food chains, such as Henry's Drive-Ins and Ken's, were modeled after McDonald's, as were ventures like Glen Bell's Taco Bell, which originated from Bell's observations of McDonald's in San Bernardino. Collins himself earned $80,000 in take-home pay during his first year running a McDonald-inspired fast food restaurant. Meanwhile, the McDonald brothers became prominent figures in San Bernardino's elite circles, alongside wealthy local families such as the Guthries, Staters, and Harrises. San Bernardino, a hub of the occult? San Bernardino, California, has long been a focal point of interest due to its reputation as a hub for Illuminati and satanic activity. Thousands of practitioners of black magic reportedly operate in the area, adding an ominous layer to its history. Survivors of the Illuminati have provided insights suggesting that members of the McDonald family are intertwined with this secretive network. How far back does the McDonald family's connection to the occult extend? Historically, The McDonald family was a prominent Scottish clan deeply rooted in Druidism. Over the centuries, many members of the McDonald family have turned to Christianity, serving Christ faithfully. However, a significant and powerful faction of the family remains tied to the mystery religions, with some members actively involved in the Illuminati. Each major Scottish clan once controlled specific territories in Scotland, and the McDonald clan presided over the islands and coastal regions of Scotland's west coast. This geographic position played a pivotal role in history, especially during the persecution of the Knights Templar. During the reign of King Philippe IV of France, the McDonalds became instrumental in aiding the escape of the Knights Templar from persecution. These Templars, having adopted Gnostic and Satanic practices during their time protecting pilgrims in the Middle East, had grown to become Europe's international bankers and significant landowners. The French king pressured the Pope into endorsing a campaign to eliminate the Templars. Privately maintaining pagan beliefs, the McDonald clan was willing to provide refuge to the fleeing Templars. The Knights Templar and the McDonalds. The McDonald clan offered sanctuary to the Knights Templar, protecting their treasures and military forces. Many Templars sought safety in western Scotland, later aiding King Robert the Bruce in the fight against English forces. The Templars' contributions were crucial in Scotland's victory at the Battle of Bannockburn, a triumph that secured Scottish independence for nearly 3 centuries. Angus Og MacDonald, a prominent Scottish landowner and ally of Bruce, played a central role in these events. In 1308, Angus Og provided protection for the Templars, integrating their wealth and military expertise into Scotland. Some Templars settled on the Orkney Islands, while others remained in Scotland, embedding themselves in the occult traditions of the region. The descendants of these Templars are said to still guard significant occult relics, which might be unveiled in the near future. The McDonalds were not alone in their involvement. The Sinclair family, another influential Scottish clan, has been linked to the Prieuré de Sion, Freemasonry, and the Illuminati. Marshall McDonald, vice president of Sinclair Oil and Gas in the late 1950s and early 1960s, was an active Freemason who married into the Collins family. This connection underscores the entanglement of these elite families with occult practices and secret societies. The Jacobin connection and influence in the United States. One of the Illuminati's lodge systems, the Jacobin Club, initially known as Club Breton, was instrumental in financing and instigating the French Revolution. The Jacobites, who included secret Satanists among their aristocratic ranks, also had a profound influence on the early history of the United States and the American Revolution. Flora MacDonald, a prominent Jacobite figure of Scottish descent, famously saved the life of Prince Charles Edward Stuart. Another notable Scottish Jacobite, Etienne Jacques Joseph Alexandre MacDonald, was a 33rd-degree Freemason and a French military officer who rose to the rank of Marshal. In 1805, he became the Grand Administrator of the Grand Lodge Symbolique in France. Notable MacDonald figures. The MacDonald family has produced several influential figures throughout history. Some of the most notable include Ramsay MacDonald, a British Prime Minister during the 1920s. He was privy to insider information and advocated for collaboration with Communist Russia. Ramsay MacDonald was also a member of the Fabian Society, which worked toward a socialist one-world government. He was associated with prominent figures like Anne Besant and Clark, a disciple of Illuminatus Mazzini. Notable MacDonalds and their influences. Alexander MacDonald, July 1910, President of Standard Oil of Kentucky, born in Scotland and later resided in Clifton, Ohio. Alonzo Lowry MacDonald, a U.S. Marine from 1950 to 1952, member of the Council on Foreign Relations, CFR, and associated with the Illuminati. Alonzo served as assistant to the president and director of the U.S. White House staff from 1979 to 1981. He lived in London, Zurich, and Paris during his career. Angus Daniel MacDonald, 1878 to 1941, a railroad president with extensive leadership experience in the industry. He served as a trustee of Notre Dame, a Knight of Malta, and a member of the Bohemian Club. David George MacDonald, conducted secret medical and psychological research, including classified work for the Neuropsychiatric Research Unit in San Diego for the U.S. Navy in 1962 and 1963. Donald S. McDonald, a member of the Bilderberg Steering Committee, the exclusive Illuminati group directing the Bilderbergers. He was a Canadian Minister of Defense, a member of the Trilateral Commission, and Canada's Institute of International Affairs, the Canadian counterpart to the CFR. Donald also served as a director for prominent corporations, including DuPont of Canada, Shell Canada Limited, and McDonnell Douglas Corporation. Christopher W. McDonald, a member of the Bohemian Grove. Edmund B. McDonald, also a member of the Bohemian Grove. Frank Bethune McDonald, a NASA scientist involved in the Pioneer 10 and 11 missions to Jupiter. George G. McDonald, a member of the Bohemian Grove. Graham L. McDonald, another member of the Bohemian Grove. Dr. Gordon MacDonald, an astrophysicist who suggested that enhanced electrical oscillations in the Earth's atmosphere might be used to impair human brains. Harold D. MacDonald, a high-ranking occultist in the SRICF, Societas Rosicruciana in Civitatibus Foederatis, a branch of the SRIA, Societas Rosicruciana in Anglia. These groups influenced the formation of various occult organizations, including the OTO, Ordo Templi Orientis, and the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. Harold lived in Massachusetts. Ian Bruce MacDonald, a member of the Bohemian Grove. Professor Dr. James E. MacDonald, a renowned scientist who addressed the United Nations Outer Space Affairs Group regarding UFOs on June 7, 1967. He was reportedly suicided by the CIA after uncovering their involvement in UFO phenomena. Jeffrey R. MacDonald, a Green Beret doctor whose family was murdered by a satanic cult with alleged connections to CIA and Army drug operations. Ted Gunderson attempted to provide legal assistance in this case. Sir John A. Macdonald, 1815 to 1891. The first Prime Minister of Canada, a Freemason, Knight of the Order of the Bath, and Knights Templar. He was also a member of the Lafayette Royal Arch Chapter in Washington, D.C. John Bartholomew MacDonald, 1844 to 1911. A railway engineer and executive, John was able to secure significant projects due to his father's connections with Tammany Hall. He oversaw the construction of the New York subway system. Upon his death, the subway system's electricity was shut off for 2 minutes in his honor. He also constructed the Vanderbilt tunnels north of 42nd Street in New York City. John Cecil MacDonald, a 32nd-degree Freemason and Shriner. He was the National Republican Chairman, a judge in the U.S. Court of Military Appeals, and a delegate to several Republican national conventions from 1964 to 1984. John Garwin MacDonald, an oil executive. John Warlick MacDonald, Jr., an Illuminati member living in Arlington, Virginia. He worked with the U.S. Supreme Court in 1951 and the U.S. military government during the occupation of Germany after World War II. His career included involvement with NATO, CENTO, the National War College, the United Nations, and the State Department. He also coordinated the UN's drinking water programs and participated in numerous UN conferences. John was a member of the Cosmos Club and the Club of Rome. Lovett MacDonald, president of Draycott, involved in secret arms smuggling operations with P2 Freemasons. Linda MacDonald, a victim of monarch mind control programming orchestrated by Dr. Ewan Cameron at Allen Memorial Hospital. At the age of 58, living in Vancouver, British Columbia, Linda successfully proved that Cameron subjected her to programming techniques, including drugs, electroshock, psychic driving, and de-patterning. In 1963, at the age of 26, she was a victim of these experiments. The U.S. federal government, through Canadian intermediaries, issued her a $100,000 settlement on the condition of silence. Robert A. MacDonald, a member of the Bohemian Grove. W. Patrick MacDonald, a member of the Bohemian Grove. Walter Joseph MacDonald, an influential CIA officer and a devout Catholic. Walter lived in Annapolis, Maryland, and was born in Boston, Massachusetts. MacDonalds who authored occult books and other notable titles. Douglas R. MacDonald, The Scots Book of Lore and Folklore. George MacDonald, Wise Woman and Other Fantasy Stories, part of a series on George MacDonald's fantasy writings. John MacDonald, The Magic Story and Message of a Master. John Warlick MacDonald, Jr., The North-South Dialogue and the United Nations, published by Georgetown University. Michael MacDonald, Mystical Bedlam, published by Cambridge University Press. Rabbi E. MacDonald, The Ghosts of Ostwick Manor and a Contemporary Collection on loan from the Rothschild Bank AG Zurich. Historical overview of the MacDonalds and their heritage. The MacDonalds and MacDonalds, along with some of the Donalds, trace their lineage to King Somerled, who played a significant role in expelling the Norsemen from Scotland. King Somerled's son, Ranald, had a son named Donald. Donald's grandson, Argus More MacDonald, inherited the title of Lordship of the Isles through marriage to a MacRory descendant. The MacDonalds became the chiefs of this region, and families under their protection often adopted the MacDonald name. Given their lineage, it is plausible that some Knights Templar bloodlines merged with the MacDonald family. Notably, the MacDonalds of Glencoe lived in their ancestral lands until the infamous massacre of 1692, carried out by the English government against supporters of Francis Stewart, the Grand Master of witchcraft covens in Scotland. During the 17th century, the MacDonalds were compelled to engage in piracy along with others, adding to their complex history. The Stuarts and their Illuminati connections. Some powerful members of the Stuart, also spelled Stuart family, are associated with the Illuminati. These connections extend to intermarriages with influential families, including the Rockefellers. One Stuart family member owned a network of theaters in California, allegedly with hidden tunnels connecting to daycares for ritual abuse and programming purposes. James C. Stewart, an Illuminati member, was instrumental in constructing prominent buildings such as the Mormon Capitol in Salt Lake City, 60 Wall Tower in New York, and the Savoy Hotel in London, which serves as the Pilgrim Society's headquarters. Stuart MacDonald, another notable figure, directed the Savoy Plaza Hotel in New York, a frequent meeting place for the elite. During World War II, Stuart MacDonald led the Army war shows and played a role in secret mind control operations under the Illuminati. Another member of the Stuart bloodline has a stronger claim to the British throne than Queen Elizabeth, though this information is carefully hidden by the media. This individual, 11th in line for the throne, was reportedly offered the monarchy of Estonia, but declined. The Stuart family has also been deeply involved in Freemasonry leadership over the centuries. The Scottish-Flemish connection. Several influential Scottish families, including the Stuarts, Campbells, Camerons, Douglases, Hamiltons, and Montgomerys, originated from the Flanders region, modern Belgium and northern France. These families migrated to Scotland in the 12th century, bringing strong occult traditions that linked Scotland with Flanders and Rome. Over time, Flanders became a hub for international banking, reinforcing these connections. The Hungarian occult world also ties to Scotland through figures like Saint Margaret, a Hungarian noble who married Malcolm Seymour, who killed the historical Macbeth. Saint Margaret's son, David, introduced feudalism to Scotland and strengthened ties with the Catholic Church. MacDonalds in modern history and the military. The MacDonald family maintains a legacy in Druidism, an ancient religion predating Christianity, and some members are part of the Catholic hierarchy. The MacDonalds also boast an impressive military presence, with 5 members reaching the rank of Air Marshal in the British Royal Air Force, RAF. Summeride Douglas MacDonald. Thomas Conchar MacDonald. Sir William MacDonald. Air Commander John C. MacDonald. Major General John Frederick Matheson MacDonald. The prominence of the MacDonalds in the RAF aligns with the New World Order's NWO emphasis on air power, earning the term air dictatorship. For instance, Thomas Conchar MacDonald conducted secret research for the Air Ministry after World War II and attended the University of Glasgow. Sir William Lawrence MacDonald contributed to British Air Force intelligence, while others, such as David George MacDonald and James Michael MacDonald Jr., worked for intelligence agencies. Additionally, William MacDonald, a physician, collaborated with Franklin D. Roosevelt in 1925. MacDonalds. Their roles in banking, politics, and the occult. Henry Ford had connections with a doctor named William McDonald, highlighting the far-reaching influence of the McDonald family. Numerous McDonalds have played significant roles in banking and the stock markets. For brevity, only a few notable names are listed here. Andrew Jewett McDonald, Yale, USAF; Archibald McDonald; Alan Colfax McDonald; Angus Daniel McDonald; John Garwin McDonald; William Henry McDonald, Canada; Whitten McDonald. Archibald McDonald served as director of Joseph Freeman, Sons and Commercer, Limited, a company linked to the Freeman family, one of the top 13 Illuminati bloodlines with ties to the Prieuré de Sion. Sir Peter George MacDonald, another influential figure, directed the Guardian Assurance Commerce de Limited, which also connects to the Freeman family and the Prieuré de Sion. The MacDonald family has had a substantial presence in government leadership roles worldwide. For example, Danny Lee McDonald of Tulsa, Oklahoma, served as vice chairman of the Federal Election Commission from 1982 to 1983, and as its chairman from 1983 onward. William C. McDonald was the first governor of New Mexico, serving from 1911 to 1917, during a time when the Freemasons exerted significant influence in the state. McDonald's and the JFK assassination. A McDonald was pivotal in the aftermath of President John F. Kennedy's assassination. Officer M.N. McDonald arrested Lee Harvey Oswald shortly after the assassination. This officer, who later appeared on programs like Top Cops, was notably critical of conspiracy theories surrounding the event. However, the circumstances of Oswald's arrest raise many questions. Oswald attempted to shoot Officer McDonald with an unloaded gun, and Jack Ruby, who later killed Oswald, was also present in the same theater. Witnesses reported hearing a police officer say, "Kill the president, will you?" during the arrest, despite the Warren Commission's claim that Oswald was not initially a suspect. Oswald's close associate, George de Mohrenschildt, was a former Nazi spy who worked with the CIA. Jack Ruby's involvement with the Carousel Club tied him to the Monarch Project. The assassination itself was allegedly orchestrated through Permindex, an organization established by Louis Mortimer Bloomfield, a British Special Operations Executive, SOE agent, connected to Illuminati networks and U.S. Army intelligence. The MacDonald family's ties to the Illuminati extend back to their protection and leadership of the Knights Templar during the Middle Ages. Today, some MacDonalds are members of the Illuminati, holding positions of power in banking, intelligence, and the military. Others are prominent in Protestant and Catholic circles. The family's historical connection to the occult, beginning with Druidism, continues to influence certain branches of the lineage. Notable MacDonalds also include barons, bankers, and military leaders. For example, Linda MacDonald was awarded a settlement by the Canadian government and the CIA for her involvement in the MK Ultra mind control program, as documented in a news article. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe and I'll see you in our next video.